This opening credit takes entirely too long to tell me exactly what I already knew when I saw the official logo just before this. The ocean changes to road here for the Speed 2 title reveal, which, I don't know, why did they do that? I'll go ahead and repeat what others have said about this title back in the day. Cruise Control is pretty much the opposite of Speed, and you played yourself by setting up a pun for your soulless boaty action adventure. Not Jason Patric is an interesting way to introduce Jason Patric's character. And now that it is Jason Patric isn't Keanu Reeves in this scene. How did we get here? How did we get to a motorcycle chasing a food truck on the windiest of roads in the hills? This makes sense in Grand Theft Auto only.
Now listen, Alex. Everything by the book. No stunts and no wrecks today, all right?
Sounds like the guy you put on the job has a disposition to get into stunts and wrecks all the time. Maybe you should have told him that before the mission, or maybe you should have let someone else do this shit. After all, the only thing Alex is doing is leading an ice cream truck into an awaiting SWAT team. Seems like Jimmy or Bobby or some other generic douche could have done this instead. Oh man, they dragged poor Tim Conway into this fucking shit.
Your boyfriend drive like this?
How is that relevant? No one will be seated during the Alex drives through the easily avoidable boxes falling off the truck scene. Locking the fuck out.
That's how we met, by the way. I was jaywalking.
Jaywalking?
Yeah.
Well, you know, jaywalking is a crime.
Yes, she does. She was just telling you that's how she met her current cop boyfriend, who probably used his power to get a date out of her. I remember this movie being bad when I last watched it in 1997, but I was skeptical of the 3.9 IMDb rating. Now, after 4 minutes, I'm really wondering if I can make it. Do I dare hope my writing partner fills in the rest of the sins while I go fishing? It's awful tempting.
Hold the fire, gentlemen, it's too far!
Then why the f did you put up your roadblock so far away that he could see you stop and turn around? He intentionally wrecks his bike into the truck, and they both go tumbling down the hill and end up within inches of each other. And this is hilariously unlikely. Mathematicians are walking out of the theater right now, ashamed that they ever walked into it in the first place.
Alex?
Of all the roadblocks and all the gin joints in all the world, she wandered into Alex's SWAT mission. When a luck dragon fucks a leprechaun, this is what you get. The most convenient, lucky-ass run-in of all time. The entire movie Serendipity is less serendipitous than this moment.
Weren't you at the beach?
Did this movie really need the aspect of Alex lying to Annie about what kind of cop work he does? He's not on the IMF team, and they've been dating for 7 months. How does she not know already?
And I told you about Jack and how he was always getting hurt, that I thought he was out of his mind, and that I would never date anybody like that again.
So you're telling me that in the 7 months you've been dating, you never once went down to the beach where Alex supposedly works to try and surprise him, or go to lunch, or get caught jaywalking again in your sick, twisted sex games? The f*** out of here, Annie. The f*** out of here.
We gotta spend some time together. Now we get to know each other.
That is the setup for the movie? Also, this shit might have flown around the 1 month mark, but they've been dating for 7 months, and the words have simply read, "If you don't know me by now, you will never, never, never know me."
I was gonna surprise you tonight.
Wow, that 7-month anniversary mark must be super special if he planned a Caribbean cruise for it. Super lucky, too. Thank God he wasn't thinking about doing this for the 8-month anniversary, or he would have been so dumped.
You can't just pull out tickets to some exotic island and think that's gonna make everything okay.
Where the f*** is the Annie from the first movie? Also, you gotta love Hollywood back in the day thinking, well, Die Hard was great. Die Hard in an airport was great. Die Hard in New York was great, and Die Hard on a bus was great. So you know what would be super great? If we put Die Hard on a boat. And absolutely no one told them that Under Siege was a thing that happened just 5 years previously. There is literally no reason the movie couldn't have started right here. I guess film executives might demand an action scene in the opening 10 minutes, but film executives are stupid and they eat their own boogers. Glad the filmmakers included the boat ride before the boat ride. I would have spent hours wondering how they got on the cruise if they hadn't shown it.
The ship has 5 passenger decks, A, B, C, D, E.
Once he started with A, I think I could have figured out the rest from there. Also, 5 decks? Only 5 decks? I got so-called river cruises traversing the creek in my backyard, and even those boats got more than 5 decks. Heroes innocuously bump into villain hours before they become adversaries. The movie wants us to know that Alex bought Annie an engagement ring, and this is how they do it. But also, they were having conflict, and the dude suggested a vacation as a way to spend time together, and then he bought a fucking engagement ring. Are you serious right now? Here's Sandy at the bar, again talking to this movie's villain. Why do this? Is it just so she can later say, I had drinks with that guy? For that matter, why would the villain even feel compelled to leave his room and interact with any of the guests? Did this movie ask any questions as it wrote itself?
I mean, of course, if it's all right with your new boyfriend over there.
Even though it was clear to all of us that Annie wasn't flirting with or interested in John, the movie decides to give Alex the extremely attractive character trait of jealousy. We're now 13 minutes into the movie, and we haven't been given one reason to like Alex. He lied to Annie about his job, he's not Keanu Reeves, he buys her off with cruise tickets, and now he's a jealous face. Why should we care? What is this, a cruise ship for ants? Seriously, I've seen bigger boats on Deadliest Catch. Wait, someone checked a bag full of woods and no irons and nobody got suspicious? Who travels with a golf bag full of 16, 1, 3, and 5 woods? That is way too big to be a real golf ball. You hid a bunch of explosive detonators and golf clubs, but you made your golf ball receivers the size of billiard balls? No, UB40.
Who here would like a peek at a multi-million-dollar jewelry collection?
The f***? Why would you even do this? If said jewels are on board, you should have them in a safe guarded by ninjas, not holding up close and personal experiences to the plebeian cruise guests. Movie way overestimates the popularity of UB40. Sure, they covered that Elvis hit for a terrible movie called Sliver back in 1993, but everyone was too busy listening to Mbop to care about this shit in 1997. Oh, awesome! Alex now finally shows one positive trait by miraculously knowing ASL and finding a kid halfway across the room to show it off to. Maybe all of his other more damning traits don't matter anymore because of this out-of-nowhere revelation.
She says you're very beautiful, and
She can't believe her parents, who were just signing at her, are not noticing that she is signing with a grown man halfway across the room.
so can I order a la carte?
Is something going to happen in this movie, or is it just going to sit on its hands until it gets to a magical 27-minute mark where the first act technically ends?
Oh, you're not serious.
It's pretty clear he's serious, but because Annie is dumb in this movie, that's what she believes.
I must be lost.
It's hilarious to me that John planned to hijack a ship, which involves hacking its computer, and it still somehow relies on him playing drunk guy walking into a restricted area to pull it off. If anybody heads John off at the pass here, the plan fails, but somehow he's able to get by everybody, stumble around, and do the shit he needs to do.
You never let me have any fun.
They're watching Lolita. Fucking Lolita! Because that's what you do when you go on a romantic cruise. You watch movies about fully grown men taking advantage of underage girls. God, attention leeches! I've got a question about this cruise, which is apparently attractive to couples, so much so that everyone thought Alex and Annie were newlyweds. Why are there 2 beds? Is this the Flintstones cruise?
You don't even know his cop number.
My badge number?
Badge number. I don't even know what it's called.
You've dated 2 cops at least, one of them for nearly a year, and you never heard badge number before? Are you even a real person?
What's this?
Excuse me.
Oh, you mean that John didn't notice the asshole bellhop walk in until he discovered the secret hacking laptops? The cover song of the Police's Every Breath You Take is playing during this romantic scene, and I can't believe in 1997 movies still didn't realize that's a straight-up stalking song. Or maybe they did and thought, I don't know, stalking can be romantic too.
What is this? Who are you?
Are you seriously telling me that you don't remember a dude who looked like Willem-Dafoe pretending to be drunk when he walked onto the captain's bridge earlier? I can't really explain what is wrong with John beating up the captain with one of these side boat water lights, except it looks stupid. All of this sophistication with smuggling explosives with golf clubs and hooking up laptops to control the ship's mainframe. Then you do this, hoping the captain is by himself and will react just as stupidly as he did so you can beat him with a water light and throw him overboard. So Connie Ray here plays a character named Fran Fisher. And later that year, actress Frances Fisher would play Kate Winslet's mom in Titanic. What does that help us understand about our lives? What makes it a sin? I don't know. Go f*** yourself.
No, she's fine. Let her go.
Parents. Jesus Christ, how many times is this movie going to cut to some musical act when it needs to build momentum? This movie is like Treme, only without the social commentary or a reason to exist.
This almost seems too perfect, doesn't it?
It doesn't.
Want me to step on your feet?
Already did.
Oh, I meant again.
For fuck's sake, is this shit real? Was this screenplay an entry in the Bulwer Lytton fiction contest? This movie is the epitome of Ian Malcolm's line in Jurassic Park about being so preoccupied with whether you could, you didn't stop to think if you should.
This is my vacation! Damn it!
Annie's whining is not making this movie any more enjoyable, but I'm still kind of stunned how the movie incorporated Lolita and Every Breath You Take into the romance, and they're still not the most offensive things about this movie.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
Man, Django Fett is mad! I remember what happened the last time someone made Django mad on a vessel out in the open sea. Attack of the Clones happened, and I'm still pissed about it. Oh no, that girl I should care about is stuck on the elevator. She had an uninteresting conversation with Alex, who I hate, and now she's trapped. Whatsoever will I do if no one saves her?
And now the forward section on the A deck of both sides of the bow thrusters.
Green Goblin tells Boba Fett to watch the monitors as he blows up small areas of the ship and proves that he's in control, but honestly, I don't even know what we're supposed to be looking at or feeling during this scene. All of this is just a ruse anyway, so Geiger can steal the diamonds. It doesn't add any more intrigue or danger to the movie, which it desperately needs.
No, I have a feeling about this.
You're so stupid, Rose! You're so stupid!
He's blowing the light!
Huh? What? Is that banging? Could that have something to do with my lost daughter? Ah, f*** it. On the night he was prepared to propose to her, mere minutes after actually, he leaves her alone to chase down a hunch. And I think after Keanu and this guy, Sandy's character needs to go for a pudgy librarian type who collects model trains and stamps. Geiger came here for the diamonds. That's not surprising, although the movie seems to think it is and held on to that secret until now. But imagine how much more exciting this movie might be if you tell the audience this right up front. You can show the various obstacles Geiger has to overcome involving us in the heist, and it makes clear why he had to do all the shit he's done so far. Because after hacking the ship, I don't know why he had to go to such extremes to make this heist possible. We also could have been spared that Alex and Annie shit, every Lolita you take, and the unnecessary cutaways to UB40. Even if we know what he plans to do, the movie can still surprise us in other ways.
Drew wasn't in the room!
Look, I don't want anyone to die, but I'm all out of fucks to give for Drew. This movie hasn't laid the foundation for me to supply the fucks. Everyone who was meant to deliver the fucks is on strike. The fucks are sitting on a truck somewhere in Kansas, going stale until the union boss tells everybody they got higher pay and the dental plan. These parents actually get on a lifeboat without knowing where their daughter is. And look, I'm not a parent. That should be a parent. Sorry, not the time for jokes. But I would 100% make certain I knew where my daughter was before abandoning a sinking ship. And I would do that by not shaming her for her outfit so that she wanders off in the first place.
That cable will never hold. We gotta get them out.
In Speed, the other complications that arose from a bomb being on a bus that had to maintain a 50-mile-an-hour speed were thrilling. Every obstacle was logical, and the whole plot depended on hurdling those obstacles. Do I give a about the people on this lifeboat? I guess I do, but in the most mundane sort of common decency sort of way. It just doesn't affect the movie's plot at all. Hell, it doesn't even function as a delay tactic, like in an if it wasn't for this, Alex could stop the bad guy sort of way.
What the hell is he doing?
He's making the movie stretch to 2 hours. Here, the movie will spend 20 minutes on a lifeboat rescue that really has little bearing on the film itself, because it's fun. Drew's mom rocks the boat, starts to fall, and then I guess some other people fall out of the boat. But the entire editing sequence suggests that it's the mom falling. And I don't even know who these two asshats are who are falling to their deaths. They're worthless. I don't think about them much. Anyway, this is the type of movie we're watching.
Alex! Alex! Dante!
Wow, she remembered the photographer's name? This is just goddamn stupid. God, I feel like the camera work here is so shaky that Paul Greengrass saw it and immediately declared, I have an idea for a Bourne trilogy.
Alex! 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 Hi. Get everybody on here if you can.
I guess Annie doesn't have to shout anymore because the rain and the ocean water and the movie's score realized it was rude to drown them out. As the deaf girl tries to climb to the ceiling of the elevator car, I would just like to point out that I personally would just sit on the floor of the elevator car and wait for rescue or death. The thought of climbing around in an elevator shaft makes me puke. And how does she know the ship is in such peril that she needs to get out of the elevator? For all she knows, the power just went out. Also, is it an homage to the original Speed that we have an elevator shaft in play here, or just bad writing?
He's taking us to the cliffs right next to the hub.
Oh no, not I can't even pretend to be concerned at this point. F***ing crash that thing into the cliff, see if I care.
Why's everyone trying to kill me?
Because you suck.
I designed this whole autopilot system. My company sold it off to almost every shipping line in the world. But when I got sick, they fired me.
We could have even had the tiniest empathy for the villain in this movie if it told us this at the beginning instead of waiting halfway through. Now, I don't really give a shit. We spent the first 10 minutes of this movie showing the main hero chasing down an ice cream truck while his girlfriend annoyed Tim Conway. They had their chance to make me care, and they blew it.
Is there a little girl in there? Drew?
No, there's no little girls, just big women.
Movie thinks this is even a little bit funny.
I want to know why she hasn't taken anything off yet.
Because I'm not wearing any underwear, Harvey.
This is an actual scene that made it into a movie. A studio greenlit this with this scene, and one day they actually spent probably hours shooting this. They even made it where the woman proves she's not wearing underwear, brandishing her vagina like it's the murder weapon in a game of Clue. What the f*** is all this typing? Is there anything going on here that the keyboard is responsible for? Also, Geiger made it so that no one had control of the ship, but you can still command it to open ballast doors and shit.
If you back off with the saw! What? If you back off with the saw!
Jesus, it's a miracle more people weren't killed during all this shit.
Can you walk it out?
Can you imagine what it was like going to the theaters in June of 1997? The week before Con Air came out. It was really stupid, but fun, I guess. Then this dumbass movie comes out. The following week, audiences were rewarded with another dumbass movie called My Best Friend's Wedding, but more importantly for the sin, Batman and Robin. The week after that, we got Face Off, which is certifiably insane. Somewhere in the middle of all that, Disney came out with Hercules, but you were probably too numb from loud, obnoxious action and wedding films to notice. Drew has now reached Port Ballast Door 2A, which will undoubtedly be open for the flooding here in a minute, and there's no way they're going to kill this little girl, so I feel nothing.
How much longer?
Look, I've never let 1 million gallons of water into a ship before.
Sure. Doing that requires an intricate amount of keyboard strokes for the last 5 minutes to truly accomplish. On a system that apparently works by typing sentences into a command line, I'm sure flooding the ship is a goddamn jigsaw puzzle.
What is this?
That's the ballast room.
So wait, you're telling me you have cameras everywhere in this ship except in the places where you could really have used them? Like, you should have been able to figure out that Geiger was bullshitting about the fires on the boat and not ordered that massive evacuation if that's the case. And sure, if there were cameras, I'm sure John would have disabled them or would have done that trick where you loop the video over and over like that movie I can't remember the name of. But now it seems like there are cameras on the boat strictly so that Alex can spot Drew and save her before the boat floods. They finally swim rise to a high enough level that they don't need to hold their... He carried that shotgun the whole way?
And that you're gonna be 15 next month. Relationships based on extreme circumstances, they rarely work out.
Yeah, that's why it wouldn't work out. I know you're letting her down easy in a time of crisis, but couldn't they just have not written this scene?
Alex.
I said that a moment earlier was the most convenient thing of all time, but that was before this moment, which is even more convenient.
You stay. You stay and you wait.
Sandy Bullock is not a dog. You do not give commands to Sandy Bullock. Holy shit, he guessed which way the thief went and he was right. I gotta be honest, I'm pretty surprised Geiger didn't close off key doors to block people from reaching him. I don't even know why this asshole is running around the ship in the first place. He's thought of every other thing. The is this dick wasting ammo on the TVs for?
How are you gonna stop me now, my friend?
Well, the window is cracked, is it not? It wouldn't be the dumbest thing in the world if Alex was able to bust through this with the barrel of his gun, or shoot it out, which is what I'd try, especially after he took it out on all those TVs earlier. Somehow it's dumber that he can't bust it when there are this many cracks, but I don't know how Geiger is so confident about the barrier.
Yeah, it's the music they're piping all over the ship.
No. I've heard this music before. Ship shopping music is in the mall.
Wait, so because you hear I Feel the Earth Move, you assume A, it's only played in the mall, and B, that the music that's piping in can only come from one place. Logic this is? Geiger is just now getting a warning about the ship flooding, even though it did that about 8 hours ago in movie time. This non-existent wrist iPad tells the villain that the ship is doing something he doesn't like, so he boops it and it's all okay after that. God, I sure hope these passengers got some dry towels.
Here's some more dry towels.
Thank God! Thank God!
I am so sorry I yelled at you.
It's okay, Dad.
I have issues with both sides of this conversation.
Okay, I'm cutting the serial port connection.
You, dude. F you, movie. This guy has had nothing special about him all movie, because this is a terrible script wasting a great actor, but he cannot suddenly be an expert ship software bypass genius. That's absurd. Also, I just don't understand why Alex didn't try this first. They thought about flooding the ship before doing this. There's still a lifeboat on this ship, and while I understand that at the time they couldn't get it upright to lower it safely in the water during the rainy evacuation scene, I'm wondering why no one is considering it right now. The problem was a jammed winch, which might be impossible to fix in the next 30 minutes, but it's got to be a better idea than trying to stop the ship's propellers, right? The boat that is in danger of having another boat wreck into and up over it has a TV that is playing a movie where that very same rare naval action happens? I believe you can go f yourself.
Who played the German captain in The Enemy Below?
Kurt Jurgens.
Movie lifts a trivia question directly from James Gandolfini and Viggo Mortensen when they played this game on the bus in Crimson Tide.
4296 589J. That's my badge number.
Badge number, sweet nothings. He's underwater trying to feed a rope into the propellers that will force a steel line into them and cause the ship to stop moving forward. That's it. That's the sin. I would have removed 1,000 sins if there was a for no reason dead body attached to this cable. Honestly, I don't even know why I thought about that or why it would please me, but I'm pretty sure I'd knock off 1,000 sins for it because that's my random dead body appearance sin removal standard. Movie would be amazing at CinemaSins?
Oh, no, you don't.
Geiger sees the ship slowing down, and apparently that tells him Alex must have gone down to the propeller to stop it, even though that idea was insane and laughed off by the ship's officers just a minute ago. So why does he immediately leap to it? Also, I'll tell you what else is bullshit, that Geiger is even still on the ship to be able to do something about it. He could have made his final adjustments from here in the first place and already been on his escape boat. Hell, he could have done it from the escape boat, but he's still here because everything is bullshit.
Then you spend the rest of your days in some nice mental hospital, sticking leeches to your ass.
What are things you don't say to a psychopath when he has the advantage, Alex? Also, Willem-Dafoe's expression here is so goddamn perfect that I considered taking a sin off, but that would require me to take a sin off of Speed 2. So here's a sin for making me consider taking a sin off for Speed 2.
I hope you don't mind, but I'll be taking Annie with me as a little extra insurance.
And because this movie needed to ape something about speed, it might as well be the Annie in distress part at the end of that movie.
She's heading straight into us.
Get the anchors up now!
But also start the engines, right? Increase the engines? You can't just pull up the anchor and hope the water drifts you out of the way.
How do you like your vacation so far?
Villain has time for this in a plan that needs him to immediately jump ship.
How could this happen on our honeymoon?
What a f***ing stupid question. This is like asking why that murder happened during my bar mitzvah, or why Firefly got canceled while I was at football practice.
The bow thrusters are two large wheels connected by a small shaft.
So, a boat?
Find it at the end of the shaft that runs below the...
Is this asshole f***ing serious right now? This isn't even the time of Instagram and he's doing this shit. I'm not saying it would be okay if it was, but what the dick is this asshole doing? But also, if you look at this footage objectively, it's clear the cruise ship is already on a path to miss the oil tanker. So this whole ending is some, well, the whole movie was some bullshit. So I guess that makes this here some bullshit pie with a dollop of bullshit cream and a glass of warm bullshit. Probably not, but I think it's hilarious that you think you can find an intercom underwater to respond back. You guys move the goalposts here like a bunch of dicks. But even so, it still looks like Cruisy McYacht will miss the Von Oily McGee by a nose. This guy has already held his breath longer than humanly possible, and he hasn't even started doing the National Treasure puzzle yet.
They're turning us.
Let's not go sucking our own dicks just yet.
Yes, it's working.
If there was anything that encompasses speed more, it's watching a giant cruise ship steering very slowly to avoid another ship that is barely in motion. As he dives again to do more dial spinning to avoid a boat crash, I'd like to point out that this is maybe the most boring sea-based movie climax that ever existed. Oh, did they crash? I'll be. I had fallen asleep because it was taking so long for anything to happen, but I think something happened. And it was a mild boat crash. That's wild. How the f*** is this thing sailing normally after scraping the side of the tanker for like forever? Is this bumper boats? Budgeting for a CGI anchor, but not budgeting enough.
Drop the other one.
Oh, the other one. Why didn't you try to drop both at the same time?
It's stuck.
Goddamn, did no one inspect the winches on this ship before they went out to sea? This anchor isn't even on the side that's damaged and it's up. I realize the smaller boat probably had gasoline in a tank, but this thing blows up instantly when the bigger boat collides with it, which suggests it was also full of grenades.
I can't believe it. This is slowing us down.
I guess we're supposed to be excited that the ship is slowing down because it's crashing into a whole bunch of other boats on the way to the island, even though that might mean a lot of other people die on the way.
This isn't happening.
That'll stop it. I will never forgive Geiger and this movie for keeping the bellhop alive so that we have to suffer through all his reactions during the climax of this movie.
I found it! I found it! I found it!
There's an officer on the bridge right now who apparently didn't think about the boat's PA system. Movie steals the big boat crashing on shore scene from the Lost World Jurassic Park. And even though The Lost World only came out 1 month before this movie, I think I'm correct in assuming that Speed 2 was made between the time The Lost World came out and this movie's release date. Disaster movie puts a dog in danger cliché.
Oh my god.
Boat crash peeping.
2 knots! Almost stop!
Your face, dude. Goddamn, this crash is long. I understand the instinct to make this the longest boat crash in cinema history, but once it gets past the 17-hour mark, you realize how empty and soulless it is. As the boat crashes to a stop, it rings a bell, and this may be one of the biggest you movie moments ever. Also, the crash is finally over and everybody survived that. The hilarious thing about this shot for me are the people casually walking away from the crash like nothing happened.
My car!
As the voice of CinemaSins, I want all of you to know that I care about you as human beings on this planet. But I do not give a shit about any of your characters. Not one of you is an Alan Ruck or a Gigantor or a dude who committed a crime that Keanu wasn't there for. I want you to know that even though you survived, you're all dead to me.
I just bought a condo here.
Everybody got AIDS and shit is somehow in the Caribbean at the exact time another speed adventure takes place, because callbacks. I forgot the bad guy was still alive and had Sandy as a hostage. God, this movie is so long and stupid.
Come back, you stay with me!
Let her go, dude. You could easily just drive off in some other direction. If Alex tracks you guys down, he'll want to go after her, not you. You have all these diamonds in your backpack. Stop worrying about the hostage. This is even worse when you find out he's got an airplane waiting for him that he could simply take and leave and never worry about Annie again.
Brings out shortly, PD.
I'm just wondering, are there no other law enforcement officers with actual jurisdiction that Alex could use to get back to Annie? You know, so Maurice doesn't have to go through this exact same shit again.
Take it easy, man!
Maurice's girlfriend is enjoying this violation of Maurice's rights way too much. Now that they've reached the airplane, why wasn't this shit closer? Even more reasons why you should have cut Annie loose. You saw that she could still f things up when you were on the boat. Now you think she'll behave when she's on the plane? My God, man, this shit is infuriating.
Hi.
You can punch the bad guy now. I'm not quite sure why he hasn't punched you yet, but this movie is in the middle of an active dumber situation and details are fluid at this time. Holy shit, this visual effect is awful. This is giving the same year's Air Force One a run for its money on shit. And you think this is bad. Wait until it blows up. Maybe the single biggest sin of this movie is that he tries to find Sandy underwater after a big boat crash, and he succeeds. I feel like this entire scene was Willem-Dafoe's audition tape for Green Goblin.
Look what I found in international waters.
Maurice tries to take these diamonds, and I'm okay with that, and I am not okay with that. After enduring the movie, we then have to endure this lame-ass marriage proposal. The same guy who made Speed into a good movie somehow directed this piece of shit as well. Seriously, the people walking around this crash site do not seem to know there's a large cruise ship here at all. Nobody pointing, nobody approaching cautiously, just walking around like it's no big deal. Speed 2 says, no, wait, there's more, after openly spewing rancid sewage for nearly 2 hours.
The officers and I will submerge beneath you and scuttle the ship.
Watch your glass!
Oh, should I write them a note?
2 months ago, I saw a provocative movie on cable TV. It was called The Net, with that girl from the bus.
It can only be attributable to human error.
The water is freezing and there aren't enough boats. Not enough by half. Half the people on this ship are going to die.
You didn't say the magic word.
God damn it! Hate this hacker crap!
Sir?
Avenge me!
If you two need anything else, anything at all, you just call Garçon!
Nothing.
No, there's no nothing now. What's your junior thing?
The leaning thing.
The leaning thing.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean by the leaning? Because he gave me flowers?
That gentleman barely wants the name.
It is my intention, if I may be so bold, to remain close to you throughout the evening.
The old man is so tiny.
The lines are crossed. The lines are crossed.
And they miss us.
Come in.
Look at me. I'm the captain.